Remember that enchanting lady from the Addams family? Carolyn Jones, a name of pure nostalgia. I became a fan of the Addams Family show as a child, though I never knew her name. It's a mixed feeling for me to learn that she also had her share of personal troubles amidst a glamorous hot and cold career. She faced challenges like health problems, being stuck in the same type of roles, and going through tough times in her marriages. She even struggled with poverty, and then the unexpected, a refusal to kiss the king himself, Elvis Presley, in a defiance of Hollywood norms. This is no ordinary tale, but a narrative that stirs the soul and redefines stardom's spectrum. Very gracious talent with her vacant look and honest attitude to work, Carolyn Jones is one lady I love to experience her screen performance. She remained an unsophisticated lady with her iconic image in the American television and movie scene. How time flies! Carolyn Jones started her career in the 1950s. She did both movies and TV shows during different times. It did not take long before her stars began to shine. Carolyn Jones was a super talented actress. People loved her acting so much that she got a fancy nomination called an Academy Award. It was like a big thumbs up for her role in a movie called The Bachelor Party. That happened in 1957, a long time ago. About 2 years later she won another special award called a Golden Globe. This award was like a shining star that said she was one of the coolest new actresses around. So yeah, she was a real superstar. Her movie career continued for more than 2 decades. Okay, get ready for some cool stuff. In 1964, something awesome happened to Carolyn Jones. That's when she began playing a super important role as Morticia Addams in a creative TV show called The Addams Family. This show was in black and white, which is a bit different from the colourful shows you might watch now. But guess what? This role made her a superstar. She was like the big star of the show. How cool is that? And today we can talk of Carolyn Jones and remember the Addams woman. At the time she decided to play the role of Morticia, it was not because of the money or the fame. She simply loved to work and be busy with her life. Neither was she aware that the classic TV sitcom would become a hit show that would immortalise her name in the movie industry. Carolyn Jones playing on TV was so amazing that even now, after more than 50 years, people still love watching her shows. People from all around the world, even a whole new generation, enjoy watching the funny things she did on TV. It's like she left a super cool mark that won't ever go away. The road to stardom was not an easy one for the legendary Carolyn Jones. Facts show that as she navigated her yo-yoing career, she had to struggle with health issues. Her marital life was not rosy either. She had to try new marriages at different times. While working seriously hard to entertain humanity, some men she trusted and shared her love life with probably did not share her vision as an actress. Was Jones really born to entertain? The Amarillo, Texas-born talent is the daughter of homemaker Chloe and hairdresser Julius Jones. It seemed little Carolyn exhibited her potential as a performer during her early days. Cute and well-groomed, Carolyn was an outgoing child with brilliant ideas and a fondness for storytelling, which ensured she entertained friends and those who encountered her. Little Jones got the first shock of her life at age 4 when her father abandoned his family, forcing the toddler and her younger sister Betty to move in with their mother and into her maternal home. Chloe, who was a fan of the entertainment industry, must have seen the potential in her little daughter and decided to groom her in that line, by inculcating in her a great passion for the showbiz as possible. Reports said her mother had equally named her Carolyn after one of her own favourite actresses, Carole Lombard, while she named her younger daughter Betty after actress Betty Davis. There was no way little Jones would clap hands for her father, who abandoned her when she needed him most, following tension created by the Great Depression and the attendant burden of supporting the family. Her mother was left weakened, with no better choice of providing for her kids than to hurl them back to Granny. One of those childhood memories she would not want to be revisited is her relationship with her father, who she said treated her terribly because of what she went through. Living with Granny was not the best thing for little Carolyn Jones, who did not just struggle to adjust to her grandparents' overcrowded humble home, but the numerous issues that disheartened her. Her grandfather often terrifies her with his angry posture. It's definitely not the best time for the would-be icon. She suddenly fell sick and terrifyingly developed chronic asthma that became life-threatening. Needy Jones got confined inside her room for weeks as she recovered from the illness. Is it true that with nowhere to go and nothing to do, Jones engaged in escapism for comfort? Not exactly what you think. Follow her restriction from normal childhood play and even prevention from going to movie houses, she took to reading and became a regular reader of Hollywood fan magazines, which may have inspired her to want to act. Carolyn Jones from the publication soon learned about a famous acting school, the Pasadena Playhouse, and realized that she needed to become a performer through the platform. Your guess is as good as mine. She became obsessed with how she could get in, but her grandfather was the initial obstacle. Charles Baker, her grandfather, would not support her acting career because he wanted her to become a lawyer or a doctor, and tried to position her in that line at Southern Methodist University. Young Jones was not pleased with the idea and practically displayed her rejection by throwing herself on the steps of the building, crying and begging Granny to allow her to join Pasadena Playhouse. Ultimately she won the argument and was allowed to commence training. Then she was 17, fresh, energetic and charming, but not too long after she fell in love with a male classmate. Their romance became intense. Some say she got distracted as the man identified as Don Donaldson cemented his love for her at a 1950 wedding, causing some controversy. Why? It was thought that the initial schoolmate-like romance that was initially felt may not be the truth, since she was 19 and her new husband was 27 at the time they married, which some said made it look like a predatory saga. This was even worse for her when the marriage shut down about a year after in a regrettable divorce. Hit by the fresh reality of life as a divorcee, Jones would take a fresh stand about her life, and this time is to focus on her acting career and put her broken marriage behind her. Soon she began acting with stock theatre groups and making a side income, in addition to tuition money from her grandfather. 3 years later she was ready to join the movie industry as a brilliant graduate of the Playhouse, but Jones soon realized that knowledge and talent were not enough to entice the Hollywood empire run by men who worshipped beauty and had a standard for what they thought was beauty. To position herself perfectly for the industry, Jones did a touch-up to her personality, primarily by improving her look. Cute and ambitious Jones, for whatever outlandish reason or just career advancement, went ahead to have a complete makeover, involving plastic surgery and dyeing her hair blonde. She also discarded her Texas accent, even her walk and posture, and of course her style of clothing, the reason analysts say she reinvented herself. She believed so much in the concept of first impression, and she wanted it to work for her. It did work for a while after she became a blonde in an era ruled by blonde ladies, but she soon discovered that you also need to deliver if given the chance to show. As soon as I became a definite blonde, I was signed to a term contract at Paramount, she later recalled. What she discovered is that you get more attention as a blonde, and it makes the actress a lot more confident. But as the studio system faded, the era of the Monroes and other legendary blondes began to wane. Her initial fortune changed, with less juicy roles to show for. She took another adventurous risk to return her hair to black by cutting the long golden hair short and dyed it jumbo black. It significantly brought her back into the limelight, and Hollywood, according to her, was like, "Wow, who is this girl?" Before this time she earned her award nomination and got paired with stars like Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. Years later she reflected on the desperate moves she made in the course of her career, saying, "When I was a blonde, people used to look and think I was sexy, but a brunette is a chase and conquer type girl." Jones also spoke of competing with the likes of Mansfield and Monroe as a blonde, even though she spent most of her adult life trying to be a modest actress and not a sexpot. So returning to a brunette appears to be the magic idea that gave her true superstardom. Carolyn Jones once told interviewers that she began the Addams Family show simply because there aren't enough movies being made. I'm tired of sitting around doing nothing. She started the show appearing a little nervous about it because, at the time, comedy was a lot harder for her to play than drama. But as the show rolled on, she cherished the wonderful change of pace. Not long after the show started, the impact was huge on her, as she later recalled having a huge number of fans attracted by her Morticia role, a new set of fans that were mainly teenagers. And for being typecast with the role is nothing to worry about because I was a star in films before I was a star on TV, she explained. Recall that Jones's roles were always extra edgy, bad girl's part. It was a thing of luck and talent that she was spotted at the Pasadena Playhouse by Paramount Pictures Talent Scout while she was performing and subsequently signed into a contract. This is the studio where she played in about 26 movies of various nature, big and small budget, plus co-starring with Sinatra in A Hole in the Head and King Creole with Elvis Presley, a movie she later spoke happily about. The part is brilliant, and I get to sing. She was particularly happy with the huge fans Elvis attracted. Even though it was Elvis's last film before he joined the military, it, however, did not bother Jones that he would not be available for more shows. She later credited her blonde hair for providing her the opportunity to co-star with the stars like Elvis. Yes, she had worked so hard to get to this level after she lost the Academy Award, and her next movie with Elvis remained her biggest opportunity to bounce back to the limelight. But nature spoiled her chances. How? The filming didn't go the way she had planned. At a time, the King's name was almost on everyone's lips. It was indeed a big deal to star with him in a romantic movie scene. I guess almost every young female talent will gush at the opportunity to kiss Elvis. But in her case, it was a different ballgame because, while the King Creole shooting was ongoing, Jones took ill, and regrettably, the high fever that took over her was disturbing. But as a professional, and knowing the financial implication of not completing her role, she had to stay on somehow. This presupposed that Elvis, who's famous for cornering his female co-stars after having wonderful on-screen chemistry with them, would be doing it this time with deeply sick Carolyn Jones when they two appear in their romantic scenes. I could not find the right words to express my shocking sympathy to either of them, no pun intended. Luckily for Carolyn, she applied wisdom through her remarkable sense of humour. The truth was that she never wanted to kiss the king in her condition, perhaps deeply worried about what the experience would be like for the rock and roll legend. I'm not able to ascertain the language the director used to cue them in, but a typical movie set would have the director yelling at the camera to be on standby, and as the camera rolled, you'd hear those chilling words, "Cue action," and when things are not going the right way, you hear the demoralizing word, "cut." I imagine young deflated Carolyn freezing upside down on hearing the word action as the scene commenced. Whether she was truly terrified of unintentionally getting Elvis sick, or that she was being conscious of what Elvis would think about her after learning she was ill, is a part of the same coin and a dilemma she would not want to gamble with. So, she allegedly playfully requested that they bypass their kissing scene. It was not an issue for Elvis, who had his own ideas. He supposedly told her, "That's all right, maybe it'll get me out of the army." Although that movie became a hit, Jones's opinion about it is sure different from what anyone would think. And for her Addams Family performance, it seems Jones was at home with her role as Morticia and would defend the show at the slightest opportunity, just as she did some years back, talking about the love that pervaded among the actors whom she described as independent talents. No wonder it took over her true identity as a performer and overshadowed her initial movie typecast. "Morticia doesn't haunt me. I have been very lucky," she stated. She never sensed her new typecast, but as she went out and interacted with people, she discovered that almost everybody wanted to catch a glimpse of Morticia. It dawned on her that, as she puts it, "I'm Morticia forever." Those close to her, including her sister Betty, would also hint how she made a line from the Addams show her favourite phrase, as she is often heard saying, "Relax and worship me," which was credited to Morticia, who uttered a variation of that. Jones was married 4 times. She turned to Judaism after marrying television producer Aaron Spelling. That union, however, ended after more than 9 years together. In 1968, she married Broadway musical director and co-producer Herbert Green. Their marriage ended just like the previous ones. There were also indications that she was married to actor Peter Bailey Britton in 1982, before her demise the following year as she turned 53 years. We've got more jaw-dropping tales and fascinating mysteries waiting for you, so don't miss out. Watch this video now. How Pat Sheehan ended up in a father-son love triangle.